Hi guys, my name is Allie Miller. I'm from Greater Washington, NCSY, and I'm going to be talking about passion. So this week's Parsha is Parshat Tsav, and God instructs Moshe to command Aaron and his sons regarding their job as Kohanim and how to bring all the different karbanot, the sacrifices. Now God tells Moshe, Tsav et Aaron v'et banav lemor zos Torah ha'oleh. Command Aaron and his sons, saying, this is the law of the burnt offering. Rashi points out that God uses the word Tsav, which means command, rather than saying that Moshe should speak or tell them this law. Rashi continues by explaining that the word Tsav is generally reserved when instructing something that required a sense of zealousness, something which needs to be performed immediately, as well as for posterity. But was God really doubting the commitment of Aaron and his sons? I mean, we're talking about Aaron, the first Kohen Gadol. Was there really anything to worry about? Why would God use a word implying such urgency? So Rashi goes on to explain that it's not only the need for immediacy, but mainly to stress how important it was that these services carry on throughout the generations in the exact same way. Because it makes sense that they would be enthusiastic about this mitzvah now. New things are exciting, and this is a really big new mitzvah. But God uses the word tsav to stress the importance of keeping the same level of commitment and excitement even generations later, when this is no longer this exciting new mitzvah. So the real question here is how? How did the Kohanim make that excitement last in order to pass it down from generation to generation? So as I kept reading, I saw that in the next few psukim, Aaron and his sons were commanded to not only just bring the karbanot, but they had to be there throughout the entire process to sit there and kindle the fire under the offering. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that would get kind of boring. And I know some people say that Aaron and his son were super holy, so they didn't get bored, but whatever, I just find that kind of hard to believe. So the natural response is for excitement to fade. However, there are two ways I found that you can deal with this. The first and most natural would be to fight back, by criticizing and forcing ourselves in an attempt to stay motivated and excited. It could be that this is the approach Aaron took. Maybe he had a lot of self-discipline and forced himself to do it. So this is possible, but usually this head-on approach works to our disadvantage because the frustration that we invest in criticizing our character only worsens it. The second thing you can do is create a passion for God, a desire for spiritual development, to learn, to grow. When you love the life you're living, you're less likely to feel like you're lacking or to allow yourself to be weighed down by the simple day-to-day things. So in Pasuk Vav, God explains the process of giving a karban, a sacrifice. He says, Eish tamid tukein al hamizbeach lo tichbeh. A continuous fire shall burn upon the altar, it should not go out. Lo tichbeh literally means it should not be extinguished. However, the Maggid interprets this a little differently and switches it to read tichbeh lo. Tichbeh, to extinguish, lo, the no, the negative. Kabbalah explains that every person is a microcosmic altar upon which they make sacrifices for God. But the sacrifice itself is insufficient without the fire. And so the Torah advises us to keep the fire constantly burning in our altar. The fire fueling the altar is so strong that it will destroy any elements that may stand in its way. So passion. Passion is the fire. If you're passionate and focused on loving God, you won't need to focus so much on the things you don't understand or the imperfections in yourself. Tichbeh lo, extinguish the no, the negative, by keeping a constant fire burning, and in doing this, you are fulfilling the lo tichbeh, which is what God commanded. So yeah, that's basically the point. And just because the Torah and mitzvah can sometimes seem like they're kind of boring and not unimportant, but they still have to be fulfilled. And I mean, we're only human, and sometimes we're just not in the mood, but we can't afford the luxury of only focusing on the fun parts of life. However, we can choose to make learning Torah and doing mitzvot a passion. We can make it something we do enjoy. Find something about Torah, about Judaism that you love. Make it a part of you, of who you are, so you can pass it down from generation to generation with the same amount of enthusiasm.